Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run for the UKV, have a look at the precipitation and the temperature over the next 5 days, as it is starting to look like it's going to be a little bit milder throughout the next 5 days. But unfortunately we are going to be seeing an increase in precipitation with some pretty heavy rain falling, especially through Saturday afternoon through to Sunday morning, as we do see an area of low pressure sat to our south, a bit of a cut-off low developing, meaning very slow moving areas of precipitation are spiraling around. As we head into next week, it's likely to stay reasonably unsettled and reasonably mild, with the winds coming in from the southeast. Nothing exceptional, but temperatures could be back into the high teens. For some of the longer range charts, as we'll see from the GFS, GM, EastWF and the ensembles, are hinting perhaps at it turning colder once again as we head towards that sort of 5th to 10th of May point. Now, there's no concrete consensus on it, but once again, the ECMWF opening the doors to northerly winds, and we are seeing quite a few ensemble members showing something colder as well. So perhaps we could be seeing a bit of a milder spell through the next few days, but then as we head into early May, could turn colder once again, unfortunately. But we'll have a look at that into more detail in the second half of the video. So do remember, if you enjoyed the videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, if you start on the live radar, you can see where the cut-off low is sat at the moment, down over France, and you can see all this precipitation is spiraling away. We are starting to see rain pushing into southern England. Now, this isn't anything too major yet. It is going to move northwards, but it will probably fizzle out through this evening into Saturday morning. But it could give a bit of lighter to moderate rain for these areas overnight. But it is going to, as I said, fizzle out as it heads northwards. The main area of heavy rain is arriving through Saturday afternoon into the evening, and then through to Sunday morning. You can see further northwards, still got some cold air in place. We're still seeing a bit of snow, and for many areas in the north and west where it's drier and you still have the cold air, we are likely to see frost once again, and could be frost tonight, maybe even tomorrow night as well. You can see where we've got these lighter blues. That's where those temperatures will plummet tonight. Further southwards, we're starting to see that milder air get dragged in. Now, it's nothing incredibly mild yet. Could be a bit milder through Monday and Tuesday, but it is getting back towards average, or maybe slightly above average. Now, if you look at the latest UKV, you'll be able to see the deluge that is likely to be coming through tomorrow. Now, as we head through this evening, you see that rain heading up from the south. It is moderate intensity at times, but you see it fizzles away into the morning. But we could still see some thick cloud and maybe a bit of light rain lingering in places. As we into the afternoon, though, we see a secondary area of precipitation moving in, and this starts to introduce some pretty heavy rain, torrential rain in places, an absolute deluge arriving through Saturday evening. This dominates much of Saturday into Sunday for many southern, eastern, and even getting towards northern areas through Sunday morning, before it slowly clears up towards Scotland, giving lots of heavy rain along the east coast as it finally exits out into the North Sea and the North Atlantic through the early hours of Monday. Now, behind it, through Sunday afternoon, it's actually not too bad as that rain clears, but we still are likely to see quite a bit of rain through the morning hours. As we head through into Monday, you see the wind direction changing to more of a westerly, and this is because we are still seeing these lows coming in off the Atlantic and kind of getting trapped. So it is going to keep it still a little bit mild, but remaining fairly unsettled, with areas of rain coming in off the Atlantic continuing to spiral in and give some heavy rain in places. You can see those not going to be an absolute deluge everywhere. We could see some drier spells. But look what we start to see as we head into early May. Something I've picked up on into the last few videos, the risk of some thunderstorms. Now, if you look at the mixed level Cape, you can't see there's nothing too intense, but definitely moderate amounts of Cape through parts of central England, Wales and the Republic of Ireland. And you can see the upper air temperatures are trending quite a bit warmer as well. So we're likely to see that replicated in the surface temperatures that we'll see in a minute. But it's also potentially going to bring the risk of some heavy showers and some thunderstorms into early next week. You see the huge contrast right now, where it is a good 5 degrees below average, getting towards 5 degrees above average by Wednesday. But as we'll see in the second half of the video, these above average temperatures could really be a blip before it turns cooler once again. Now, as we look at the max temperatures as we head through Friday night into Saturday, again, frost in northern and western areas, and into Saturday afternoon, again, we've got slither of that 8 or 9 degrees across many central areas. We start to see that heavy rain moving in. So even though milder air is moving in through tomorrow, it is going to still feel really quite cold as we see all that cloud and rain moving in. But as we head into Sunday, again, frosts in the north and the west, we avoid that rain. And into Sunday afternoon, again, along that east coast could be a very cold day, maybe only 6 or 7 degrees. In the west, though, 13 or 14, so starting to climb up. So you can see through the weekend, it is turning milder in the upper air level, but at the surface, it could remain pretty chilly indeed. I wouldn't really take these temperatures as gospel, simply because it's all dependent on the cloud and rain. That cloud and rain is a bit more intense, then it could be cooler and more widespread. If the cloud and rain is less intense than forecasted, then those temperatures could climb a bit more. So it is very touch and go how cold it will be. But as we head into Monday, again, there's a risk of frost in northern areas. But into the afternoon, look at that, 16 or 17 degrees. Eventually, with the rain and cloud clearing, those upper air temperatures can actually do some good. And we do see those temperatures rising back towards average, maybe even nudging above average. Into Tuesday, a similar story. And look at that, 18 to maybe even 20 degrees. But as we highlighted into the 1st of May, again, we could see 17 to 20 degrees there. We also bring the risk of some thunderstorms, and that could, as said, bring some hazards as we head into the first few days of May. Now, if you do have a look now at the longer range and see what that is in store over the course of the next couple of weeks, you can see the cut-off low developing to our south at the moment, and that's giving us unsettled conditions, really quite horrible in many areas. That continues into next week, but we do see some warmer air advecting northwards underneath this low, and you can see it here, the 5-degree isotherm or even the 10-degree isotherm getting wrapped in, and that allows the rain to be heavier, potentially some thunderstorms, but also where it's drier, much warmer conditions. Now this pattern kind of just continues through the first full week of May before it does turn a little bit more mobile, but we are seeing hints here from the GFS of some higher pressure building in. Now the high pressure is not completely dominant, therefore we're not dragging anything very warm in, and it won't be bone dry, but it'll be quite pleasant indeed. And if we do zoom in and have a look at the 2 meter temperatures here, look at that, widely towards 20 degrees or even up towards 23. As I said, the upper air temperatures aren't exceptional, they're a few degrees above average. We're not completely dominant under higher pressure, there is lower pressure out to our west, but this time of year we can just get those dry conditions, as you can see here, holding the precipitation out to the west. Where we don't see rain, those temperatures could rise quite high indeed due to the fact that the sun is very strong and we've got slightly above average upper air temperatures. But it's not that easy. Now, as we see from the GEM, we continue these lows spiraling out over the next few days, potentially dragging in easterly winds at times as we head into early next week. But you can see actually we do start to see some influences, some colder air trying to linger in from the north. Now, if you do look at the 2 meter temperatures here, you can see actually it's nowhere near as mild, even though the upper air temperatures are actually very similar to the ECWF the GFS out towards its end, and then you can see the pressure is reasonably high, but the wind direction, it's coming in off the North Sea. It's coming straight from that cold sea surface temperatures, and that essentially means the temperatures at the surface are not going to respond, instead are 15 or 16 degrees. So wind direction, not only pressure, not only upper air temperatures, but wind direction can make a huge difference this time of year when we've still got very cold surface temperatures in the North Sea. Look at that, only 7 or 8 degrees above the air above the North Sea. Now, if you compare to the Eastern Rift, as I said, it does go cold at the end of this run. Again, low pressure spiraling around, the high pressure builds in and it looks all right. But look at day 10, the high pressure moves out into the Atlantic and unlocks northerly winds, and you can see the -5 isotherm trying to move in. Now, again, we can't see anything too extreme. Look at that, very little cold air remains above the Arctic, but some of that very little cold air that remains heads our way. And you can see, if we zoom into the United Kingdom, look, temperatures not 15, 16, maybe 13 or 14 at best in the southwest, and in areas that are seeing that northerly wind, maybe only the high single digits. So it would be very chilly indeed. So 3 operational runs that don't vary all too much in terms of their overall synoptics. Just have that high pressure position slightly further westwards on the colder runs and have the wind direction coming in off the North Sea or in from the Arctic. Makes all the difference, even though GM and the GFS have very similar upper air temperatures. The GM and the Eastern UF actually have similar synoptic patterns with a northerly wind, but it makes all the difference with those little things like the air mass and the wind direction. Sometimes it can be very difficult to pick up when just looking at the pressure charts. But as you can see here, very subtle differences in the upper air temperatures and the overall synoptics will make a huge difference to what we actually experience. And if you look at the ensembles, you can see we are just about getting back towards average in the next 24 hours. But as I said, and as we saw from the UKV, it's still going to rain well below average in terms of these surface temperatures because of all the rain arriving. But into early next week, into the first few days of May, look at that big spike in upper air temperatures to around 3 or 4 degrees above average. And you can see still pretty high precipitation, which is symbolic of heavy showers or even some thunderstorms. And then as we head towards sort of the 5th of May and beyond, look at that, quite a few runs dipping to below average and significantly below average, which shows you that sort of pattern east of the UF had isn't a complete outlier. There is some support for it. We're going to have to keep a very close eye on that, as that could bring another blast of colder conditions that I think you'd agree we don't really want. And you can see the next sort of 5 days we're on an upwards trend up towards 20 degrees by the first couple of days of May, and then it drops off again. That is because fresher air masses move in, and then there's the risk of something even colder, as I said, in the subsequent week. And finally, if we compare to the Eastern UF ensembles, look at the midnight run, again we see back towards average, spike in upper air temperatures, and then a big plummet once again. And you can see temperatures potentially getting back down to -5 or even down to -8 degrees from some of the ensemble members. So yeah, it could be some very variable conditions. We could be seeing 8 or 9 degrees at best some places this weekend, 20 degrees by Wednesday, and by the following Sunday, Saturday or Sunday, could be back down towards 7 or 8 degrees in places. So yeah, it could be some big roller coaster in temperatures. And of course, precipitation is returning. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you just subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.